Before we get stuck in, let's get one thing straight. This is not like any other Stardew Valley guide out there. If you're looking for some kind of min-max tutorial, or how to complete the community center in 1 year, or how to make a ton of cash as quickly as possible, you should probably move along right now. This tutorial is designed for beginners to the game, or those who have tried but failed to get into it and want to give it another shot. It's made to show you that Stardew Valley does not need to be overwhelming, nor does everything need to be done at all. Did you forget to water a crop one day, or give someone the wrong present? Don't worry about it. I'm Mo, and in this video I'm going to take you on the most chilled Stardew journey you'll experience on YouTube. So sit back, relax, and let me show you how to enjoy the game in the way poor old Grandpa intended you to. You won't need to rage quit, constantly restart, or freak out over missing anything. I'll not spoil cutscenes for you, but as this is the intro to the game, I'll give you a quick rundown as it plays in the background. The premise of this game is that you're a cog in the capitalist machine, working a 9-to-5 cubicle office job for a giant corporation, Joja. When you were a young boy, your grandfather gave you a letter on his deathbed and told you to open it when you've had enough of the daily grind. The game begins where you've reached that point, and remembering your grandfather's letter, you open it and learn that he's left you a farm in Stardew Valley. With a shred of your sanity left, you pack up and leave the big city for Pelican Town, a remote, quaint town located in Stardew Valley. I suggest you watch the intro cutscene for yourself, as it's also where you're introduced to Mayor Lewis, the mayor of Pelican Town, and the ever-desirable yet unattainable Robin, the local carpenter and girl boss who you'll be seeing a lot of as the game progresses. After spending a decent 20 to 30 minutes in character creation, mostly cycling through the vast array of clothing options, I would suggest selecting the standard farm. There are a bunch of different farms to choose from, but as a beginner the standard farm is the most friendly. You then watch the intro and find yourself waking up in your newly acquired farmhouse. Before we get stuck in, we'll take a quick moment to look at the various options the game has to offer. If you're on PC, press E to bring up the menu screen. From this screen you can see your inventory, player stats, map, your friendship levels, your pets, recipes, items you've discovered, and so on. Don't worry about any of that stuff right now, just go over to the options. There's a few features here you'll want to turn on to make your life easier. Tick the following options: Auto Run, Always Show Tool Hit Location, Show Advanced Crafting Information, Lock Toolbar, and Zoom buttons. The tool hit location will tell you where you're aiming, which, believe me, is essential. Lock Toolbar ensures that the game toolbar always remains at the bottom of the screen. It isn't necessary, but I find it a lot easier when I know where the toolbar is all the time. The zoom buttons allow you to quickly zoom in and out of the screen. Finally, at the bottom you'll see that you can take a screenshot. This is really handy if you see something pretty, or create a farm or room design you're particularly proud of and would like to share it. Now let's spend a minute just talking about the other options. As you can see, in your inventory you can move things around. On PC, the inventory items can also be accessed with numbers on the keyboard, so I like to arrange my items based on the keyboard shortcuts I like to use for them. Just click on an item to pick it up and drop it into the space you want it to be in. You can also change your clothes from this screen when you find different clothing items. The friendship menu shows how many friendship hearts you have with each NPC in the game. The more friendship hearts you have with NPCs, the more of their storylines you unlock, and they give you gifts. You can date the single NPCs and even marry them, if you have enough hearts. The crafting menu shows which items you can craft and what you need to build them. As the game progresses you learn new crafting recipes. When you have animals, the animal menu shows you their affection levels. There is then a checklist of items you have found in the game. When you collect items they will be displayed here. You can also see cooking recipes you've learned, letters you've found, achievements you've gained, and so on. But that's all I want to say about that. All of that stuff isn't really important when you first start. Take your time, explore the menu, but don't let it overwhelm you. Just remember that we're taking things slow, and we don't need to get bogged down in everything the game has to offer just yet. That time will come. For now, let's pick up our free gift. Each day starts at 6 AM. That's the farming life. When you start the game, you are given 15 parsnip seeds. It's a way to teach you how to start your farming journey. Pick those up and press F on PC, or click in the top right to see your journal. This shows you all the quests you have picked up. There's one for introductions, greet all 28 NPCs, and cultivate and harvest a parsnip. The quest text describes how you should do this. Use your hoe to till soil, then use a seed packet on tilled soil to sow a seed. Water every day until the crop is ready for harvest. We just left a tedious 9 to 5 job for a 6 AM start of digging and watering. Like all responsible adults, let's forget about our daily tasks for a second and distract ourselves with literally anything else. By clicking on items in your house, you'll be able to move them. You can turn on and off your fireplace with the right click, or use the left click to pick it up and move it around. You can do this with pretty much anything, including the window. After all that moving, let's take a break by watching some TV. Much like in real life, the TV in Stardew Valley is your best friend. You can check the weather for the next day, which is really helpful as it will tell you when it's going to rain. On rainy days you do not need to water your crops. And you can also find out your daily luck. Luck is an interesting concept in Stardew and affects various things in game, such as which treasures you can find, how many enemies you will face when mining, how easy it is to find a staircase. Confused yet? Yeah, don't worry. When the time comes, I'll explain it all. For now, just know that it's useful. Finally, there's sometimes a third channel on TV. It will either give you farming tips or it will teach you a cooking recipe. It's good practice to always check these. They do repeat, but in some cases not for a long time, so just get into the habit of checking the TV at the start of every day. Right, it's time to go outside. Jeez, what a dump. Seriously, did no one bother to sort this place out in the last however many years? That's okay, we can take care of this. It will take some time, but it's entirely possible and quite rewarding. First though, let's just clear a little space for our 15 parsnips. Various tools in your inventory will be effective against different objects. A pickaxe is used against rocks, an axe against wood, a scythe for grass and fibre, and your hoe to dig earth. You'll notice that when you use a tool on an object, your energy depletes. When you lose all your energy, you will collapse from exhaustion. Don't worry, the game warns you before this happens. Just keep an eye on that energy bar. You can replenish energy in different ways, the main method being through food, and we'll look at that a bit later on. We don't want to waste a lot of energy clearing everything up, especially since we don't have any food at the moment. So just clear a few rocks and logs. Interestingly, using a scythe doesn't take any energy, so when you need to clear fibre, which are these plants here, although you can use a pickaxe or a hoe on them, a scythe is much better as you won't waste any energy. Now, before you get a bit trigger happy on clearing everything away with your magical energy neutral scythe, I must warn you not to clear your grass just yet. If I don't warn you about this, I will get severe backlash from every hardcore Stardew Valley player. I'll explain why. Grass is used to make hay. Hay is what you need to feed your animals later on in the game. The problem is when you clear grass, you don't pick it up like you do with logs, stone or fibre. The only way that grass is collected is if you have a silo on your farm, and that's not something you can get right away. Honestly though, between us, if you accidentally clear up a bunch of grass, don't even worry about it. There's more than enough grass on a standard farm to fill a silo and then some. There's other ways of getting hay and grass later on as well, so yeah, if you start clearing it all and someone says, actually you should wait, you can tell them that British Mo said it's okay. I went a bit crazy this first day and just used the scythe to pick up as much fibre as I could, just to prove it took no energy, but then I remembered I still needed to plant my parsnips. So when you've cleared enough space for your parsnips, go ahead and hoe the ground. When it comes to hoeing ground, I like to try and keep things in a 3x3 square. This is because when I'm watering the crops, I can stand in the middle of the square and reach all the squares around me. Obviously it depends on how many seeds you have to plant and how much space you have, but that's just my preferred method. You can water the ground first or plant your seeds first, it doesn't matter. But just make sure that you till the earth with your hoe before you start. As I was busy going on a fibre killing spree, I managed to acquire some mixed seeds. Mixed seeds drop randomly when you harvest fibre. These are pretty cool as you can plant them and they grow into a random crop of the season. So in spring they could grow to become parsnips, cauliflower or potatoes. I hoed some extra ground for these and planted them as well. If you go around and clear up some logs on your farm until you have about 50 wood, you'll be able to craft yourself a chest. Put the chest down and fill it with everything you found when clearing. At this stage, don't sell anything. It doesn't matter if you don't make much money. It will be a lot more useful to keep a bunch of stuff kicking around for later on. Of course, feel free to play any way you want, but this is just my advice based on my own experiences. With that done, you'll probably be on low energy and ready for bed. In Stardew, the day ends at 2 AM. If you don't get back to your bed by 2 AM, you will collapse, and then some money-hungry doctor will charge you a bunch of money to carry you back to your bed, even if you're just outside your house. So always try to get home by 2 AM if you can. Simply walk to your bed and select yes when asked if you want to go to sleep for the night. Thankfully our farmer doesn't suffer from insomnia. Well done. You've finished your first day in Stardew Valley. Put your feet up, take a breather, make yourself a cup of tea or coffee, and enjoy this short interval. When we return, we'll tackle day 2, and in case you missed it, that's a pun, as day 2 will see us fishing. We'll be back after these messages. Hey you! Yes, you! Do you like video games? Are you a bit of a geek? Do you have trouble making friends with like-minded individuals? Well, stop searching for friendship, because at the Motown Discord server we've got just the friends for you. Whether you're into video games like Stardew or Baldur's Gate 3, maybe you like Dungeons and Dragons, or perhaps you just want to look at photos of cute pets like Lumos or Maple here. The Motown server has it all. We're a close-knit community of gamers, streamers and geeks. You'll be sure to find a place to fit in, provided you're not a complete asshole. Check out the link in the description to join today. This promotion was paid for by That British Mo. Membership subject to terms and conditions. Joining the server won't guarantee you friendship but will greatly increase your odds of making friends. Dickheads will be banned. I'm That British Mo and I approve this message. On day 2 you'll have new mail. Checking that, you see you've received a message from Willie, the resident fisherman of Pelican Town. He asks you to go by the beach. You will definitely want to do this as it will unlock fishing in the game. Before we get there however, we'll do the customary watering of crops. You'll have noticed on the TV in the morning that the next day will be rainy. That's great for crop watering because it means we won't have to do it. On the way to the beach we pass Pierre's shop. Outside the shop there are 2 very important items. The first is a town calendar. This tells you the various events of the season, as well as everyone's birthday. When you do get around to making friends with everyone, giving them a gift on their birthday will greatly increase how much they like you. The second item is the Help Wanted board. These are time-sensitive quests you can complete for both increased friendship and rewards. The reward is usually money, and so it's worth doing these quests if you can. If you forget to do the quest or don't pick it up, don't worry. There will be other chances to make friends and get money. Some quests also repeat if you miss them, so there's no rush to get them all done right away. You can see the quests you've picked up in your journal. You can also delete quests from there, although I wouldn't recommend doing that as there's no way of undeleting them. You'll notice on my way down to the beach I go searching through all the trash cans. That's because there's sometimes some pretty decent hidden treasures in the trash. Just don't let anyone catching you doing it as it will reduce their friendship points with you. Unless you don't care about that, then by all means go ahead and be a trash panda. Now I won't lie to you, fishing in Stardew Valley is not like fishing in other cozy games. Many people find it very difficult and impossible to get into, but once you crack the method you can easily spend hours fishing away in the game. I'm not going to use this video as a way to teach you how to fish. I've made several videos on that topic already. If you'd like help with fishing, you can catch my ultimate guide to fishing here. I will say one thing in this video though. If you want to make fishing easier on yourself, go and buy the training rod from Willie once he opens his shop at 9 AM. The training rod will increase the size of the fishing bar, making it much easier to catch fish. It's the best 25 gold you'll spend in the game. What you do for the rest of the day is really up to you. Spend some time getting used to the fishing mechanics or spend your energy clearing up your farm a bit. I decided to try and meet various villagers to complete the quest to meet everyone in town. Yes, I'm aware of the discrepancy. They are called villagers even though they live in Pelican Town. Surely they should be townsfolk. Townspeople? Townies? Never mind. As you can see here, I ran out of energy by 4:30 PM and went to bed. Now other far more hardcore Stardew Valley players will tell you I've wasted half a day, but you know what? It doesn't matter. You want to sleep? Then sleep. You want to eat food and get more energy and do more things? Then do that. I will keep repeating this message to you because not enough people say it. Play the game however you like and in the way that gives you the most enjoyment. Good night. Well, good afternoon. Either way, see you tomorrow. Here's an interesting bit of information for you about Stardew Valley. On day 3 of spring in the first year, it always rains. As I mentioned earlier, this means you don't need to water your crops. Nature's got your back. I decided to spend most of this day fishing and clearing my farm. That's just what I felt like doing. Could I have done more? Sure. Do I care? Absolutely not. There is one interesting thing about fishing I will enlighten you on though. It's the appearance of treasure chests. Sometimes when you're fishing, a treasure chest will suddenly appear. If you can grab it, I would recommend you to do so. Watch out though. If you go for the treasure chest, your fish will start escaping. So what I suggest you do is try to reel in your fish until it's nearly caught. Then go for the treasure chest, and after you get it, go back for your fish. It's quite tricky with some of the harder fish, but once you get the hang of fishing, it's quite a good way of finding some decent loot, like bait, gems, minerals, and more. As you level up your fishing, you'll be able to upgrade your rod and attachments, making treasure hunting easier and more lucrative. Now I know you don't want to watch me fishing all day, so let's skip ahead. As you go about clearing your farm, you're going to run into a few nice surprises. One of these are geodes. You can get geodes from breaking rocks. At this point in the game you can't open geodes, but you can take them over to the resident blacksmith Clint, who lives on the far east of the map. He will charge you 25 gold to crack open a geode, but it's worth it as they can contain some really great treasures inside. So if you find a geode, don't throw it in the shipping container. I will also let you in on a little secret about geodes and luck. A lot of people will say things like, don't open your geodes on days when you have bad luck, or don't go mining for geodes unless it's a good luck day, thinking that luck affects what's inside of the geode. This is absolute codswallop. That's not to say that luck doesn't affect geodes in any way, it does. Luck will increase your chances of finding geodes. So on a good luck day, if you go looking for geodes, you'll be more likely to find some. But Mo, I hear you ask, how do you know this to be true? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you. The Stardew Valley Wiki. By this point in the video, you're probably ready to learn about this valuable resource. If you're unsure about anything in the game, go to the wiki and search for it. Words cannot express how useful it is. You don't need to worry about it right away in the game. If I'm being completely honest with you, I didn't look at the wiki until my second year in the game. There's a lot of information there, and if you feel like you'll get overwhelmed, just leave it for now. It will always be there when you're ready for it. Before I move on, you'll have noticed I mentioned luck again. Luck in Stardew can be a complicated subject and I won't cover it in detail here, but if you'd like to know more, let me know in the comments below. If there's an appetite for it, I can create a video specifically about luck in Stardew Valley. After a bit of clearing, I took my geode over to Clint to have it opened, and inside was this strange mineral, Jamborite. You can see from the description it says, Gunther can tell you more about this if you donate it to the museum. Let's meet this Gunther and check out the museum. The museum is just below Clint's workshop and is another integral part of the game. Donating items to the museum gives you rewards, some of which are unique and can only be obtained from the museum. When you visit the museum for the first time, you'll get a cutscene from Gunther where he will explain that he'd appreciate your donations. I'll let you watch that one for yourself. After you watch it, you'll be able to donate items to him. If you're unsure whether an item can be donated to the museum, it will always have that description text that states, Gunther can tell you more about this. Personally, I would donate all items to Gunther that you can, all items that is, bar 2. At some point in the game, you'll come across a dinosaur egg and a prismatic shard. When you do, I strongly suggest you hold on to these and don't give them to Gunther right away. You will eventually find others, so don't worry too much if you donate them by accident, but try to remember this advice if you can. Day 5 sees our first parsnip harvest and a very important letter. The Joja Corporation write to inform you that a landslide they caused has now been cleared. What this means for you is that you now have access to the mines and a whole new element of the game it gets unlocked. Fighting. But before you get too excited, let's harvest our parsnips and sell a few, but not before we keep some for ourselves. Remember that it's always wise to keep a few of everything you grow. You never know when it will come in handy later on. When you harvest your parsnip, you will have completed your Getting Started quest. Remember to look at your journal to collect your reward. It will not automatically be awarded to you. Now let's go and check out those mines. Head over to the top of the map and you'll be able to cross over to the caves. There you will meet Marlin, who explains that the mines can be dangerous and there are various monsters that live deep underground. He will give you a sword and leave you be, but not before telling you about the Adventurers Guild. You'll be eager to go mining right away, and there's no reason you shouldn't, but some words of advice. When mining, always make sure that you have some food with you. Forageable items such as leeks and horseradish can be useful. Any fish you catch or crops you grow are also decent food sources, but early in the game you might want to sell those for money. Later on in the game you will learn to cook your own food, and when you have more money you can buy food from the saloon. You will need food when you mine for two reasons. Firstly, as you mine you will expend a lot of energy. If you don't have anything to eat, to replenish your energy, you will have to leave early, or if you keep going you will faint. Secondly, if you are hit by monsters, your health will deplete. Food will boost your health back up. If you lose all your health, you will fall unconscious. Although you cannot die in the game, if you fall unconscious you could lose valuable items you have mined, so try not to do that. Keep an eye on your health and energy frequently. As you go through the mines you need to break rocks to find the ladder down to the next level. Breaking rocks will give you stone and can also give you ores such as copper, iron, gold and iridium. In the first few levels of the mine you'll mainly find copper. There are also other minerals and crafting components to be found in the mine such as quartz, earth crystals and more. You will want to collect these if you can. For every 5 levels down the mine you make, you will unlock the elevator. This allows you to fast travel deeper down the mines instead of having to go down level by level each time. The further you go, the more difficult it becomes, but the better the loot will be that you get. Now you're going to run into your first major snag. You're quickly running out of inventory space. But we'll solve that problem later. We need a lot more money first. After a quick trip to the mines I decide to blow all my money on cauliflower seeds, as I have a space in my farm to plant them, and I'll be able to sell them once they're ready to harvest. I then go and visit some more townsfolk, and here I run into Gus, the owner of the local saloon. The saloon is where many of the townfolk like to gather in the evening. If you head there at night you can meet a fair number of them. You can also buy food from Gus and play music on the jukebox, free of charge. There is something else in the saloon, an arcade machine. Well, 2 arcade machines, but right now you'll only be able to use one of them. If you think that Stardew Valley is a cozy farming simulator, then prepare for a very rude awakening. Journey of the Prairie King is a merciless 2D shoot-'em-up heralding back to the days of the Atari 2600. The elder millennials here will know what I'm talking about. Unless you have severe masochistic tendencies, I suggest you steer well clear of these arcades. If however you're like me and don't value your sanity, you can check out my video on how to beat Prairie King here. You'll need all the help you can get. After you do some mining, you'll get a visit from Clint the next day. He'll tell you about a forge which you can use to smelt ores into bars. Those bars can then be used to upgrade your tools. Your basic axe, pickaxe, hoe and watering can all be upgraded to copper, iron, gold and iridium quality, in that order. You cannot jump from copper to gold for example, you have to go through each upgrade. Upgrading your tools does become essential as you go through the game. Certain items can only be broken by higher quality tools. Upgrading the watering can and hoe let you water and dig more spaces in one use. But we'll get to all of that later. For now, let's build a scarecrow. You may have noticed that after you harvest your parsnips you get a new quest, to build a scarecrow. When you plant crops there's a chance a crow will come down and eat it as it's growing. To avoid this, you need a scarecrow on your land. A single scarecrow covers a lot of farmland. If you want to know exactly how much, you can find out on the Stardew Wiki by searching for Scarecrow. Build one and put it down to protect your precious crops. Then don't forget to collect your reward from the journal page. After spending some more time clearing the farm and doing a spot of mining, I run into a very special cutscene that will introduce us to the real magic of Stardew Valley, the community centre. From day 5 of spring onwards, as long as it's not raining, if you enter the town from the bus stop between 8 AM and 1 PM, it will trigger the community centre cutscene. I don't want to spoil this for you, so go and watch it for yourselves. It will open up this old building for you to explore, and explore you should. I suggest you attempt to interact with the strange object in the lower left room. I spend the rest of the day meeting villagers, exploring the first 5 levels of the mines, planting some more crops and clearing up my farm. These early days are a great chance for you to get to know the game better, explore the mechanics, see what you like. In my first playthrough, I hated mining and fishing so much that all I did was farm, for an entire year. I never so much as swished a sword at a monster, and that's what's great about Stardew. If you want to play it that way, you absolutely can. If you attempted to read that strange object in the community centre, the next day you'll get a letter from the resident wizard. Yes, that's right, I said wizard, asking you to visit him on the far west side of the map. There's a very groovy cutscene in store for you there, so check it out. After you've done that, you will unlock the ability to explore what the community centre has to offer. Much like the museum, you can donate items to the community centre. Once you donate the required items, you will get rewarded. Small rewards are offered for completing each bundle, and completing all the bundles in the room will unlock a feature of the town. The first room is a crafts room. You can visit the community centre to check out what bundles there are to be completed. Alternatively, you can go to your inventory and click this button, which opens up the community centre bundles. Note, you can't actually complete bundles from here, just to view what's required. Completing bundles will also unlock other rooms in the community centre, as you'll see later. There's also a very cool feature where the community centre button flashes when you hover over an item needed in a bundle. Remember when I said to keep some of everything you find? This is why. If you want to complete the community centre, you'll need a wide variety of items from wood to mushrooms to melons, fish, gold, and even a rabbit's foot. This is the point where most people start to freak out and start searching online for how to complete the community centre, and you find lots of videos telling you how to beat it in a year, a worthy endeavour for a seasoned player, but not for a first time player dipping their toes into the game. My advice to you at this point would be to be aware of the community centre. Remember it's there, and if you find that you have something that can be donated, go ahead and deliver it. But if you forget or want to sell it instead, then do that. If you complete the community centre in 1 year or 10 years, the game doesn't care. All that matters is that you're having fun. If you want to ignore it completely, by all means go ahead. There are other, less wholesome ways to complete Stardew Valley, if you wish to tread down dark and greedy paths. That being said, if you do want to complete some bundles and have items to donate, head over to the community centre, find the bundle you wish to complete, and simply drop the necessary items into the slots. On day 10, a truly magical and wondrous thing happens in Stardew Valley. Do you remember in the character creation screen, you got to select the type of dog or cat you preferred? Well, prepare to cry your hearts out as Marnie, the local livestock keeper, comes to your door and presents you with your animal of choice. You get to name them and befriend them, should you wish. But who wouldn't wish? Why wouldn't you take your dog or cat? Pet your animal each day by walking up to them and right-clicking. Also remember to fill up their water bowl every day. You can find that above your house. The quicker you build up friendship with your pet, the sooner they will start bringing you random gifts. Okay, to be fair, the gifts are pretty low tier, but it feels really special when your dog or cat gives you a present. You remember Robin, the resident carpenter who's unfortunately married so we can't romance her? Not that I'm bitter about it. Well, if you visit her shop, you'll be able to construct farm buildings. Earlier I mentioned a silo for storing grass. This is where you get one. Scroll through the buildings to see what's on offer and what you'll need to build them. This will give you an idea of what to aim for. and will allow you to set your own personal goals, giving the game a bit more meaning. It's lovely to farm and mine all day and make money, but now let's see what we can spend some of that money and those resources on. On day 13, you'll witness your first town community event, the Egg Festival. There are a number of events throughout the year. On these days, all shops will be closed for the entire day, and when the event ends, pretty much so does your day. On event days, you can meet and greet all the villagers, so if you haven't already done your achievement for meeting everyone, this is a perfect opportunity to get it. There is also a shop at each event that sells special items. In this case, you can buy strawberry seeds. They're worth investing in. The main event of the Egg Festival is the Town Egg Hunt. I don't want to spoil this one for you, so I'll let you give it a try for yourself. Once you leave the festival, you're transported back to your house and it's 10 PM. I'll have just enough time to plant my strawberry seeds before going to bed. On day 15, I had enough copper bars and money to upgrade one of my tools. I decided to upgrade my pickaxe to a copper pickaxe. This requires 5 copper bars and 2,000 gold to purchase and will take 2 days. This means I cannot do any mining for 2 days as Clint will take your current tool to upgrade it. He doesn't even lend you a temporary one in the meantime. So inconsiderate. With mining out of the question for a couple of days, I turned my hand to farming, wood chopping and fishing instead. On day 17, my pickaxe is ready and I waste no time in getting it and venturing deeper into the mines. You'll find that when you impress Marlon with your fighting and exploring skills, he invites you to become a member of the Adventurers Guild. Here you can buy cool weapons and armor as well as get rewards for your monster slaying. Much of the next few days are spent all around the place. I farm, fish, mine and clear. I'm starting to give more things to the community centre and the museum as I explore more and more of the game. Again, I'm not rushing around to do anything, but if I happen to come across something that I can donate, I will. Right now I have my sights set on getting that silo, and I want to upgrade my inventory. The first inventory upgrade can be purchased from Pierre's shop for 2,000 gold. That's a damn pricey bag, but it is necessary, especially when mining. Remember that if you need cash right away, you don't have to put an item in the shipping container and wait for the next day. You can sell it directly to shopkeepers. For example, Willie will buy any fish from you, and Pierre will buy any crops. Walk around with full pockets and see which shop owners are interested in buying your items. There's no penalty for selling direct to a shopkeeper. The value of the item is the same. By the end of day 20, I'd clearly pushed myself too far and fainted just outside my house. I'll pay for that tomorrow. Lo and behold, the money-hungry doctor kindly brought me back to my bed from just outside my front door, and charged me for the privilege. He claims someone took me from my front door to his clinic, but I bet it was him all along. Anyway, he only charged me 19 gold for this service. This time, he will charge you 10% of whatever gold you have until that cost reaches 1,000 gold. He will never charge you more than 1,000. On day 21, I managed to get the resources together for my silo and asked Robin to build it. You select where on your farm you'd like it to go, and don't worry, this can be moved later on if you make a mistake. Then you need to wait a few days for Robin to build it. Let's take a break from the wholesomeness of Stardew Valley for a moment so that I can introduce you to the dark side of the game. Welcome to Joja Mart. You remember that corporate 9-to-5 job you left for this peaceful life? Well, the company you were a slave to was Joja, and they have a supermarket in town. What's more, they will offer you a membership to join them, effectively shutting down the community centre forever. If you go down the Joja route, you can complete the game, unlocking all the town upgrades. But instead of donating bundles of crops and resources, you donate bundles of money. Cold hard cash is king at Joja. For many people, this is considered the ultimate betrayal. There are hardcore Stardew fans who would never speak to you again if you embarked upon the Joja route. So obviously I did just that. If you're curious about it, check out my video where I completed it for the first time, and then where I speedran it. For your first playthrough, however, I suggest walking away. But don't let the haters put you off. It's actually quite a fun way to complete the game. On day 23, my silo was finally finished and I could now remove the grass from my farm. This is always a very satisfying job. Use the scythe to go around swishing all the grass. Remember that using the scythe expends no energy, so you can literally do this all day. Also remember what I said about not worrying if you cut grass by accident before you get a silo? Well, here's why. By the time I'm halfway through cutting all my grass, my silo's full. There's no point building another silo as I don't even have any animals yet who will eat that grass. And at the start of the next season, new grass will grow. So if someone sees you cutting a bit of grass in the game before you have a silo and freak out, tell them to take a chill pill. It really doesn't matter. When you get to level 5 of a skill, you'll be able to choose a specialization. Here you can see my farming reach level 5 and I can go with either a rancher or a tiller. As a rancher, my animal products are worth more when I sell them. As a tiller, my crops are worth more. I selected tiller. This can be changed later on in the game for a lot of money, but honestly, just pick what you want. I chose tiller because I know the game, and I know that when I do get animal products, I will use them as ingredients to make other items for more money instead of selling them as they are. For that reason, tiller is a better choice for me. But if you like the idea of being a dairy farmer and selling milk as is, then be a rancher. Sure, you can make choices for efficiency, but that's not what this guide is about. I'm here to encourage you to choose what appeals to you, not what makes the most money. Day 24 of spring is the most depressing day for many new players. It's the flower dance. At the flower dance, you can ask any of the single townspeople to dance with you. The problem is that by day 24 of spring, unless you have specifically been working really hard at increasing friendship with the specific townsfolk, you won't have enough friendship hearts with anyone for them to accept your invitation. Basically, you get rejected by everyone, and have to sit on the side, alone, and watch everyone else dance. You can, however, buy a rare crow and some flowers if you want. Remember what I said about looking through the trash? Well, look at what I found on day 25 of spring, the infamous garbage hat. According to the wiki, there is a 0.2% chance of finding this hat after you search through at least 20 trash cans. That makes it pretty rare. It's the main reason I searched through the trash. My life is now complete. On day 26, you're visited by your arch nemesis, Demetrius. Why is he your arch nemesis? Because he's married to the only woman in Stardew we want but can't have, the wonderful Robin. I'm not bitter about it. To rub it in your face, this chump has the audacity to try and be nice to you. Demetrius will offer you a chance to convert the cave at the top of your farm into either a mushroom cave or a fruit bat cave. The mushroom cave will give you different mushrooms and the fruit bat cave will give you different fruits. There's a lot of discussion about which is better. Personally, I switch it up with every playthrough. It's not something I care too much about, but if you feel really strongly about it, you can read about people getting angry on Reddit about which is best. The final few days of the season were spent making sure my crops were harvested, my farm was clear, and I finally made enough to buy my first animal house, a chicken coop. It won't be ready for this season, but I'll be able to buy chickens for it come summer. With the close of spring upon me, I look forward to the long days of warmth and sunshine to come. Before we start, I must make an apology and retract a previous statement I made in my spring video. A huge thanks to viewer Bruno, who pointed out that I said luck affects the number of monsters spawned in the mines. I was wrong about this. I checked the wiki and a video from a Stardew content creator, Blade, both of which confirm that luck has no effect on the number of monsters spawned in the mines. I'm very sorry for not checking that information beforehand. With that out of the way, let's get farming. At the start of each season, you'll notice that your previously pristine farm has fallen victim to a barrage of overnight littering perpetrated by none other than Mother Nature herself. Freshly placed logs, rocks, fibre and grass now occupy some of your farm. You'll probably want to deal with that at some point. The other thing you'll notice is that many crops you had from the last season are now dead. These will need to be cleared away before you can plant anything in their place. As it's a new season, you can start fresh with planting crops. In spring, you probably haphazardly dug the ground and threw in whatever you had. Now you're more experienced. and you can plan your layout a little better and prepare the farm for the seeds you'll soon buy. Or you could just leave it in a mess. It's completely up to you. This is not essential, as there's really no rush, but if you can, try to get to Pierre's shop before it closes at 5 PM, so that you can buy and plant your new seeds for the season. Summer has an exciting range of new crops for you to grow, including the very profitable melons. It's worth noting here that the other crops of summer, such as tomatoes, blueberries, peppers, hops, and corn, all continue to provide you with produce after the harvest. This means you don't need to replant them to grow more. This can be very handy if you find yourself short of cash every few days. Blueberries and hops are particularly good for this. Corn and sunflower will grow in both summer and fall, so at the end of summer these plants will not wither and die. Lastly, every time you pick a sunflower up, it will drop more seeds for you to plant more sunflowers. It practically pays for itself. There's a lot more I could say about all the different seeds for summer, but I recommend you take your time to look through and check the wiki for more information. You've probably noticed this by now, but when you're in any menu screen, the time in the game pauses, so you don't need to rush buying your seeds. I head back to the farm with most of my money spent and prepare the ground for my crops. I decided to keep using the area directly outside of my farm as it would be easier for me to get to and I wouldn't forget to water them. By the time I've hoed and watered the ground and planted the seeds, I'm getting tired and it's nearly dark outside. I take a quick trip to the community centre before bed and check on what potential bundles I could complete this season, but I don't stress over it. If I grow the necessary crops, then great. If I don't, it can wait until later. After that, it's bedtime. Good night. At the end of day 2, you'll hear a noise and be informed that there was an earthquake. Remember that as we go into day 3 of summer. There's a message from the mayor. He's misplaced his lucky purple shorts and wants you to retrieve them. Discreetly. I'm not going to say anything more about this quest, except that it has no time limit and it reveals some interesting NPC storylines. If you feel up to it, try to find them. It's worth it. After the usual crop watering and admin tasks, I go off to discover what this earthquake was all about. At the very north of the map, a path that was previously closed has suddenly been opened up to you. This new area of the game houses some very useful features. Firstly, there's a train station. Now and again a train will pass through Stardew Valley, and if you get to the train station in time you'll find some goodies fall off the train for you to collect. The second is the spa. Now, don't ask me who's been maintaining this spa for all the time that it's been accessible, but when you enter it, everything seems to be working fine. Remember when I said back in my spring video that eating food was the most common way to regain energy? Well, there is another. Spend a minute or so in the spa and your health and energy will be refilled. In the early game days when you spend most of your morning watering crops, digging and clearing, you'll find that by around 10 AM you've run out of energy. You would need to eat your precious food supplies if you want to go mining for the rest of the day. Well, now you can take a trip to the spa first, refuel your energy and then head to the mines. It doesn't take very long and you'll still have plenty of time for breaking rocks. The next few days are not very interesting as I spent most of it fishing to make some money and start completing some of the community centre fishing bundles. On day 7 however, I decided to spend a bit of time in the mines, and it's given me the perfect opportunity to talk a bit more about mining now that you've probably had a little time to explore the mines yourselves. Mining can seem pretty daunting at first. The enemies can be overwhelming and keeping an eye on your energy and health bars can be stressful. When you first start going down in the mines, I wouldn't worry too much about trying to go as far as possible. Set a target of 5 floors as that's where the elevators will become activated. The next time you can just fast travel to a floor and focus on the next 5 floors. If you feel you want to do more, then go for it. As well as getting down 5 floors, I also like to try and get as much copper as I can in the early levels. You need copper to upgrade your tools, but also to make items like the furnace. It's a very useful material and you can never have too much of it. If you're looking to advance down the mines, I suggest going on a good luck day, as this will make it much easier to find ladders to take you to the next level. There is an item we received from the mines that you haven't come across yet. The Omni Geode. Omni Geodes can contain the various items that the normal geodes have, but additionally can contain more valuable minerals and gems, such as the coveted prismatic shard. Keep hold of your Omni Geodes and get them broken by Clint. The cost to break an Omni Geode is the same as a normal geode, 25 gold. Another useful item you'll get from killing flies and bugs is bug meat. You can use bug meat to make fishing bait, but also bug steak, which is very handy when you're running low on health and you have no food left. You may have noticed that with your sword, not only can you attack, but you also have a block action. Don't underestimate the power of this block, especially when fighting slimes. If they come at you, block and it will actually do damage as well as protect you. Finally, remember to leave the mines in time for you to get home before 2 AM. You don't really want to be leaving later than 12:30, although I have cut it close a few times at 1 AM. Give yourself enough time to get into bed safely. You might just be one level away from unlocking an elevator and you want to keep pushing your luck, but don't worry, you can try another time. There's no rush to get to the bottom of the mines. It's not a race, just take it easy. It's better to miss an elevator and to get to bed safe than to give Harvey, the greedy doctor, your hard-earned money. On day 8, as I was mining, one of the monsters dropped a book. In the 1.6 update to the game, Concerned Ape added a new consumable item: books. These are not like the lost books you find that go to the museum, however. These are books you can read, and by doing so it increases your powers or skills. The effects are permanent. You can even buy and trade books at the bookseller, but we'll cover that in a bit. You can check the Stardew Wiki for details on all the different books available. The one this monster dropped was the Monster Compendium. Reading it will increase the chance of a monster dropping double loot by 3%. What's more, you can stack that effect with other in-game items, such as the Burglar's Ring. It was a lucky day for me as a slime also dropped a pair of sneakers that look a lot like Sonic's sneakers. Putting them on gave me a +1 to defense and also made me look cool. I think I'll wear them to bed. Good night. Today I want to talk to you about the artifact spots. You've probably come across these little wriggly worms around the map. They're described as 3 little stems in the game, and if you dig them with a hoe, they will give you something useful. This can be a lost book for the museum, mixed seeds, clay, various minerals, and so on. Keep an eye out for them and dig them if you can be bothered. You might confuse artifact spots with seed spots, something recently added to the game. Seed spots will look slightly different and will give you a special crop for the season. In summer, that's summer squash, which is a continually producing crop. Earlier I mentioned the bookseller. I don't want to overwhelm you with even more things that you can do, but I will briefly mention this guy, as it's quite a cool 1.6 addition to the game. You can find the bookseller north of Joja Mart. He comes to town for a couple of days every season. The days he'll be in town are marked on the calendar, and you'll also get a notification on the morning when he's around. I don't recommend visiting the bookseller this early on in the game. Although he sells very useful books, they are very expensive, and unless you've been setting up a little farming empire for yourself already, you probably won't be able to afford most of his stock. Eventually, however, when you find yourself drowning in gold and you want to buy something useful, get over here and get spending. As I mentioned previously, check the wiki for details on every book he sells and what they all do. Finally, don't forget that you can trade books with him as well for some useful items. If you've already read a book and you find another copy of it, you can always trade it here for some decent stuff. On day 10 of summer, you'll get a letter informing you about the Pelican Town Luau being held the next day. This is one of 2 special events in summer and will give you a chance to either be a town hero or a menace. Everyone is expected to add an item of food to the hot pot. The hot pot is then tested and judged by the governor. If you put in a decent item, it can increase your friendship score with every villager. Put in the wrong item, however, and it will lose you friendship points. Depending on how much you care about your friendship score, it may be more enticing for you to cause some trouble here and put in items that would not be enjoyed. I won't give anything more away, but you can check the wiki if you're curious as to what's the best and worst items. There are also many videos out there revealing the more mayhem causing options, so check those out if you're intrigued. Or just wing it and see what happens. You might have noticed that my chicken coop was finished days ago, but I didn't get around to buying a chicken until today. I would have bought one a couple of days earlier, except that Marnie's ranch is closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, and otherwise closes at 4 PM every other day. Even after this long, I keep forgetting her opening hours. There are plenty of memes out there about how Marnie is never around when you need her. If you haven't discovered this yet, you soon will. Anyway, I purchased my first chicken and named her Michelle Aromi after our wonderful Tier 2 channel member. More about channel memberships and how you can join later on. After your chicken is sent to the coop, you'll be able to visit her and pet her. Much like with your cat or dog, petting each of your animals increases their friendship level with you. If you try to pet your animal after it goes to sleep, which is around 7 PM, you won't be able to, so try to get those head pats in early. Also ensure that you keep their hay filled. They will use this hay if there is no grass outside to eat or if it's raining. First ensure that you have hay in your silo, and then, when in the coop, simply right click on the hay dispenser, which is here, and then place the hay over here. Check back after rainy days to ensure there's always hay around. If the animal has no food to eat, when you go to pet them the following day they will be upset with you and you will lose friendship points with them. If a chicken is fed every day, it will mature after 3 days. Mature chickens, although not as cute as little chicks, will lay an egg for you every day if it's fed. More on eggs later. A final tip on the coop, you'll notice that there's a door on the outside. I suggest keeping this door open. It will allow the animal out and give them free rein to explore your farm. They will graze on any grass you have, so it's always worth keeping some grass about, and make their way back in the evenings. If you close the door, they won't be able to get out or get back in later on. Some people find it easier to build a fence around their animal houses and grow grass inside that area to keep their animals in one place, making it easier to pet them all. Maybe that's something we'll do in fall when we have a few more animals. Today I really wanted to catch a sturgeon. It's a relatively difficult fish to catch in the game, so before trying to get it I head over to Willie's fish shop to buy some trout soup. Trout soup will increase your fishing level by 1 temporarily. It's great if you're trying to catch a difficult fish. It's not just trout soup that gives you an ability buff. Many foods and drinks can give you an ability boost. Coffee will increase your speed, for example. It's important to note, however, that food buffs do not stack, and neither do drinks buffs. You can't eat a trout soup and a seafoam pudding and get the benefits from both at once. You can, however, stack food and drink buffs. For example, you could drink a coffee, which gives you 1 speed, and then eat crab cakes, which also gives you 1 speed. Then you'll have a +2 speed boost, great for when you're rushing around the mines. After a short while fishing, I managed to hook the sturgeon and reel it in. I spent the rest of the day clearing a few trees on my farm before heading to bed completely exhausted at 8:30 PM. Day 11 is the day of the luau, and I really don't want to spoil it for you, so I'll skip through the cutscenes. Although you'll have time to water your crops at the end of the day, I would recommend petting your chickens now as they will be trying to sleep by the time you get home and you won't get a chance. As with the other town events, there's a shop here as well where you can buy some decorative items as well as a star fruit. Star fruits are pretty expensive to buy at this stage in the game, so I wouldn't spend your money on one right now. You'll have plenty of opportunities as you progress through the game to purchase star fruit seeds, so don't worry too much. When the event ends, you'll be sent back to your farm at 10 PM, giving you enough time to manage your crops and inventory before heading to bed. On day 12, when checking the weather, I am informed that the following day there will be thunder and lightning. It will always storm on day 13 and day 26 of summer every year. Storms in Stardew are cool, but they can also be annoying. Lightning strikes on your farm can hit random tiles, which includes places where you've placed flooring, crops and trees. Chests, however, will not be targeted by lightning. There is a way to intercept lightning, however, and that's with a lightning rod. If a lightning rod is hit by lightning, it will begin to produce a battery pack. The more lightning rods you have on your farm, the better protected your farm will be against strikes. For now, I'm just going to focus on making 1. My crafting menu says I need 1 iron bar, 1 refined quartz and 5 bat wings to make a lightning rod. So my personal goal for today is to hit the mines and get what I need to make one. As you get further down into the mines, you will reach the ice levels. Where the earlier levels gave you mostly copper, once you reach level 40 the ground changes and so do the enemies and gems. You'll now be finding more iron ore, frozen geodes, frozen tears and even diamonds. With the elevator, you'll be able to fast travel to the levels you're interested in, as you'll soon discover certain enemies or gems spawn more frequently on certain levels. I didn't manage to get all the materials I needed to build the lightning rod before I ran out of time, but that was okay. I could still make it the next day. I wasn't too bothered about lightning striking my farm at this stage as I don't really have much on the farm to be destroyed. It could wait a little longer. As I didn't need to water my crops, I headed straight for the mines and collected the last few things I needed to build my lightning rod. I finally gathered enough materials and crafted the rod. Once that was done, I was ready to craft another useful item in the game. Tappers. Tappers can be attached to trees that grow around the farm to give you useful crafting materials. Placing a tapper on a maple, oak or pine tree will produce maple syrup, oak resin and pine tar respectively. You can experiment with what you can get from other trees. Some of them will surprise you. Although I'm giving a lot of tips and information in these videos, I'm also being careful not to overwhelm you or spoil everything the game has to offer. I do still want to encourage and inspire your sense of adventure and exploration as well, so please don't feel that these guides are the be-all and end-all of Stardew Valley. This game has so much to offer, but there's no rush to see it all in one go. Besides, it's a wonderful feeling to come across something new in year 4 of playing the game when you think you've seen everything already. I want to use the tapper to get some of the crafting materials I'll need to build a keg. More on that later. The final item I'm going to craft today is a real game changer, the mayonnaise machine. Up until this point I've been collecting eggs from my little chicken and selling them. But they could be worth so much more if I turn them into mayonnaise. If you've been mining a fair bit to this point, you should be able to make a mayonnaise machine pretty easily. You'll need some wood, stone, an earth crystal and a copper bar. Once I craft mine, I place it beside my coop so it's easy for me to pick up an egg and drop it in there. It doesn't take too long to turn into mayonnaise. Some people even place their mayonnaise machines inside their coop, which is a genius idea. The only reason I don't do that is I keep forgetting to check when it's done, so when it's outside I can see exactly when it's ready. Yes, that was an egg pun, and no, I'm not sorry. Having done a bit of mining over the last 2 days, I caught the mining bug and decided to spend the next few days delving deeper into the mines and completing some more community centre bundles, if I came across the necessary items. By day 14 I'd saved up enough money to ask Robin to build me my next animal house. A barn. Barns are used to house cows initially, and cost 6,000 gold to build. I placed mine next to the chicken coop so that it was easy for me to get to all my animals in one go. It looks terrible right now, but later on in the year I'll work on rearranging things on my farm. Now, as you know, I don't like revealing spoilers for anything in the game. However, I will give you a small hint to something. If you've never tried walking over here, try it. My barn was ready on day 17, and it also happened to be a day when Marnie was actually open. So I headed over to her and purchased a cow. Meet Min, named after one of my first channel members, Min's Meadow. Min is an amazing cozy content creator, and if you enjoy games like Stardew Valley, I strongly suggest you go over and check out her channel. When chickens mature, they lay eggs. When cows mature, they will produce milk. However, in order to get the milk from a cow, you will need a milk pail. It's not cheap, but it pays for itself in a short time. Go ahead and buy one from Marnie so you can milk your cow when it's old enough. After sending Min to her new home, I finished the day with some more mining before heading off to bed on dangerously low health. I'll need a good night's sleep to face the strange phenomenon that the next day will bring. Something new to the game that was only introduced in the 1.6 update. More on that after a quick word from our sponsors. Yes, it's time for another cheesy ad by me.
Oh, hi there. I'm That British Mo. You might remember me from such YouTube videos as How to Defeat Ketheric Thorm or Planting Trees in Your Stardew Greenhouse. Now I can count on one fingerless hand the number of times someone has come up to me and said,
Mo, your content is so original and groundbreakingly innovative. You're also so hilarious. Please tell me how I can support you further.
Well, thank you, random citizen. I'm so glad you noticed. Just by watching this video alone, you're supporting me. If you want to help me a little more, you can always hit like and subscribe to the channel. Go back and watch all my other videos and write hundreds of glowing reviews. There's also an easier way. For as little as 99 English pence a month, you can become a channel member and support the channel by giving me money. You'll be amongst my personal heroes, such as Min's Meadow, Michelle Aromi and Rix, who've all been long-time channel members. Click join below to see the various membership tiers and what they have to offer. With that, let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming.
On day 18 I witnessed green rain. Green rain occurs randomly once each summer on one of 8 different days. The day before green rain you'll notice that the weather forecast doesn't know what's going on. On the day of the rain the television won't work at all. You'll know it's green rain because, well, everything is green all the time. Green rain still counts as a rainy day, so you won't need to water your crops. It does however have some other effects as well. On a green rain day, trees can suddenly grow to maturity or turn into green rain trees. You'll notice a lot of fibre around and a new resource item, moss. For now, I would say use this day to stockpile on your supply of fibre, which is very useful later on for making grass. And also keep hold of all the moss you collect. It will come in handy later on in the game, trust me. Another interesting thing about green rain days is that you can enter any NPC building or bedroom at any time of the day, regardless of your friendship level. So if there's a particular room you've been wanting to investigate, now's the perfect opportunity. Check the wiki for all the other things that you can do on a green rain day. A cow who is fed daily will mature after 5 days. On day 22 my cow is mature and ready to be milked. You will need to be holding the milk pail and click on your cow. Each cow will only produce 1 milk a day. Now, you can sell the milk as is, but as we learned from the mayonnaise machine, we can make milk more valuable by using it to create something else. This is where the cheese press comes in. To craft a cheese press, you'll need wood, stone, hardwood and a copper bar. Again, you should have enough of these by now if you've been following along with this guide, so go ahead and make one. If you don't have enough of the materials, don't worry too much, you'll come across them soon enough. Or make it a little goal for yourself to get hold of them. Much like the mayonnaise machine, I place the cheese press outside the barn and click on it with milk in hand. It won't take long for the cheese to be produced. After taking care of my farming duties, I head over to the mines and manage to get through 14 levels, breaking through to the lava levels. Once you get to level 80 of the mines, the ground changes once more. And now you'll be able to find gold, magma geodes, emeralds, rubies and fire quartz amongst other things. There'll also be harder enemies to fight, but better weapons to discover too. Remember that there's no need to rush the mines. If it gets too difficult or overwhelming, drop back to the lower levels and increase your fighting skills a bit before delving deeper. You've got this. At the end of day 22 there's a little cutscene of mystery boxes being dropped across Pelican Town. Mystery boxes are like geodes and can be opened by Clint for 25 gold. Look around for them. They can be found in a bunch of different ways that I'll let you explore for yourself. On day 23 I completed the ocean fishing bundle, the reward for which was the beach warp totem. Warp totems are really useful consumables in the game. Once you use them, they're destroyed, but it will teleport you to the location stated. In this case, from anywhere in the game I can instantly teleport to the beach. These are really helpful if you want to make the most of your day fishing by the ocean, but don't want to spend time walking there. Later on you'll learn how to craft various warp totems. There's even one that will take you back to your farm, which is very handy if you're out late in the mines and don't have enough time to get home. As I had been mining a lot this season, I gathered enough iron ore to upgrade my axe to a steel axe. It was ready on the 24th of summer and I took it out for a spin. The steel axe will let you destroy the large dead trees on your farm, but also one particular dead tree that's been blocking an important path for you. Over on the west of the map above the wizard's tower there's a dead tree that you can now break. Removing this tree gives you access to the secret woods. There's a lot of cool things about the secret woods, but for now I just want to tell you about one. The unlimited supply of hardwood available. Every day there are 5 stumps of hardwood that magically regenerate, allowing you to farm hardwood to your heart's content. There's a few slimes to contend with, and a little maze of overgrown foliage to navigate, but other than that it's simple enough. You don't have to come here every day, but if you're in need of hardwood it's well worth remembering this place. When you chop the stumps, there's also a chance a mahogany seed will drop. You can plant those seeds on your farm to grow your own hardwood trees. Before the day was up, I crafted a bee house. Bee houses are both cute and a good money maker. There are some players who just make money from an excessive number of bee houses. You'll need wood, coal, an iron bar and maple syrup to make one. This was the reason I made a tapper. If you tapped a maple tree earlier, then you should have the maple syrup by now. I won't go into all the details about bee houses, you could look that up in the wiki. But it's enough for now to know that they will produce honey every 4 days in every season except winter. If you plant a flower next to it, the honey will be more valuable. Sometimes you'll come across quests that reward you with prize tickets. This is another 1.6 update edition. Prize tickets can be exchanged for rewards in the mayor's house. For this particular quest I needed to give Robin 30 pieces of fresh stone, meaning I had to mine them and couldn't give her any of my stored stone. It's not a time-consuming task, so I went ahead and accepted the quest. After delivering the stone, she gave me the prize ticket. At the mayor's house there's a machine in the top left corner. If you interact with it, you can claim your reward. It will also show you what the next rewards are. Another thing I managed to achieve today was unlocking the boiler room in the community centre. The reward for doing this is opening the minecarts. The minecarts can be used at any time of day and make it much quicker to travel around town. You can get from the bus stop to the mines or to Clint's house instantly, which saves a lot of time. They will be ready on the following day. It's day 28 and the final day of summer already, and although I'm very excited about fall, there's still some magic of summer to behold, namely the Dance of the Moonlight Jellies. This is arguably one of the most beautiful and heartwarming festivals in the game. You will need to get to the beach at around 10 PM to witness the event. All I'll say is, make sure you have the game music on and try not to miss this if possible. If you do miss it, you'll always have next year, but it's definitely worth seeing at least once in your playthrough. There's still a day of farming to do before then, and a few more things I want to tell you about. We haven't really spent much time in the saloon yet. Remember from the first video I mentioned that you can buy food from the saloon? Well, now that you have a bit more money, it's worth spending a little bit on salad if you find that you're running out of energy in the mines often. Salad will give you 113 points of energy and 50 points of health and only costs 220 gold. Having a few of these in case of emergency is a worthwhile investment. The final item I've been wanting to craft all summer is the keg. I've been waiting on oak resin and now I finally have some after making a few more tappers. Kegs allow you to turn your hops into ale, fruit into wine, honey into mead, coffee beans into coffee and more besides. Later on in the game you'll probably find you're crafting a lot of kegs, but let's start with just one for now. With my keg quietly producing its first bottle of wine, I use my beach totem to head over to the beach and watch the Dance of the Moonlight Jellies, saying goodbye to my first summer in Stardew Valley. Fall is my favourite season in Stardew. Coincidentally, it's also my favourite season in real life. The colours are magnificent, the weather is mild and harvests are wonderful. It's no different in Stardew. With a variety of new crops to grow and 2 really fun festivals to experience, let's get started. As I do on the first of every season, I spent much of day 1 organising my farm. I had gathered enough materials to make quality sprinklers and began laying them out. There are 3 types of sprinklers in Stardew. Your standard sprinkler, which will water 4 squares around it, up, down, left and right. This requires a copper bar and an iron bar, and you should be able to start building these pretty early on. Personally, I'm not that big a fan of the normal sprinklers. I would need a lot of them to be effective, and early on in the game, I don't have enough ore to make so many bars of copper and iron. Instead, I prefer to wait until I reach farming level 6 and get the recipe to build quality sprinklers. Quality sprinklers need an iron bar, a gold bar and a refined quartz, but they will water crops in all directions around it, making it a lot more useful when planning where to plant crops. The final level of sprinkler you can make is the iridium sprinkler, which you can craft once you reach farming level 9. It's not easy to craft however. you will need to get hold of iridium ore, which is not something you'll have likely come across so far. For now though, if you're getting tired of using a watering can every day, think about investing in some quality sprinklers. When I went to check on my animals, I was very happy to find that they had reached a higher level of friendship with me and were able to produce better quality eggs and milk. I got a large egg from my chicken and a large milk. A large egg will always produce gold quality mayonnaise, and a large milk will always make gold quality cheese. Moral of the story? Always keep your animals happy. On day 2 of fall, you will find the mayor and Robin putting up a sign in the town. This is the special orders board. Similar to the help wanted board outside Pierre's, this board contains NPC quests for you to complete for rewards. These quests are generally more time consuming and have a longer period to complete. The rewards are also more substantial. Completing quests from this board can also lead to unique rewards, such as crafting recipes, so it's well worth keeping an eye on. But don't worry if you miss a quest or can't complete it in time. The quests will cycle back around. If you remember from the summer video, I unlocked the minecarts from the community centre. The minecarts allow you to fast travel between the bus stop, town and the mines. If you've repaired the bridge to the quarry, that will appear here as well. If not, don't worry, we'll come to the quarry later on. To use the minecarts, simply right click on them and choose your destination. Now you can spend longer in the mines and not have to worry as much about rushing home. As we approach winter, it's worth knowing how to check how much hay you have. Remember after we got the silo, we cut down all the grass to fill it up? Well, on rainy days, and during all of winter, the animals will rely on that hay supply to keep them fed. It's sometimes easy to forget how much is left. All you need to do is walk up to your silo and right click. A little message will pop up letting you know how much hay you have. If you have multiple silos, then it will add the total amount automatically for you. You don't need to check each one. Coming into day 3 of fall, I realised that there's a very special item in the game I haven't mentioned yet. You might have come across them as there are 7 of them to be found across the game. I'm talking about Star Drops. Star Drops are a strange purple fruit that permanently increase your energy bar. I don't want to spoil where I got this one from, but I'll let you explore it for yourself. If you remember, back in the summer video, I got hold of a beach totem. Back then, I said you'd even be able to get one for your farm. Lo and behold, here it is. This little guy will instantly transport you back to your farm. It comes in clutch when it's 1:30 AM and you're still in the mines having forgotten to leave already. On day 4 of fall, when you watch the TV, you'll be informed of the Stardew Valley Fair, which will take place on the 16th. It also tells you that there will be a Grange display. At the fair, you will have an opportunity to show off some of your best quality produce. The display with the most varied, high quality items will win the competition. Remember back in spring when I said not to sell everything you grow? If you followed that advice, you should have a wide selection of things to choose from. There is of course an optimal selection which you can look up on the wiki if you wish, but I suggest you show off what you want. You'll be able to display up to 9 items ranging from crops to animal products, things you've cooked, fish, flowers, fruit and even minerals. If you don't win, it doesn't matter. There's always next year. Walking around town, I noticed that Robin had posted a quest on the special orders board. She wants someone to collect 1,000 pieces of freshly chopped wood. Just for fun. For fun? Robin, I love you. But why are you actively promoting the destruction of the environment? You don't even want to keep the wood. It seems, I don't know, irresponsible to me. I mean, I'm gonna do it anyway, but I'll silently judge you for it. Let's talk about rare crows. You've already learnt how to build scarecrows, but by now you've probably seen a few rare crows kicking about in the game. Rare crows work the same as scarecrows, except they look cooler. There's 8 to collect in total. They're not cheap to buy, and some you can only get through completing quests. It's not something you need at this point, but if you like the look of one and you have the money, treat yourself. On day 6, I was finally able to get Robin to build one of my favourite farm buildings. the stable. The stable will set you back 100 hardwood, 5 iron bars and 10,000 gold. Why is it my favourite? Well, we'll come back to that in a bit. On the night of day 6, I was visited by this strange creature. This is the crop fairy. In your playthrough, you may have already been visited by the fairy. There's a 1% chance of the fairy event happening as long as it's not winter or the last day of a season. The fairy will sprinkle special dust over an area of your crops, and the next day those crops will have magically grown and be ready to harvest. The crop fairy doesn't care about crop rotation plans, she only wants to show off. On day 8 my stable was ready, and with it came my horse. Look at her. Isn't she amazing? I will name you Cheesecake, and I will adorn you with this beautiful hat. Yes, you can place a hat on your horse in the game. You can also place hats on your cat or dog too, by the way. Ride like the wind, Cheesecake, look at her go! The horse increases your movement speed and isn't slowed down when travelling through crops or grass. She's so cute. My horse aside, there was another big achievement made today. I reached the bottom of the mines and found a strange key. We'll need to find out what that unlocks later. After you reach the bottom of the mines, the second arcade machine in the saloon is open to you. Welcome to Junimo Kart. Much like Journey of the Prairie King, this game will have you rage quitting in seconds. Everything you find cozy about Stardew Valley is juxtaposed in this one game. The goal? Guide your minecart through the perilous mines. Looks easy, right? That's only because I've sunk close to 50 hours in this game. It's actually extremely difficult, made more so by the fact that every single time you play, it's different. The levels are randomly generated, and so you cannot memorize your jumps. Furthermore, the speed of your cart and the distance of your jumps changes between the levels depending on the environment. I would go so far as to say that Junimo Kart is more difficult than Dark Souls. If you want a relaxed and cozy playthrough of Stardew, don't bother with this game. It's absolutely not worth it and will have you pulling your hair out. That is of course why I absolutely had to play it. So if you want to know the secrets to beating it, you can watch my guide on how to do that here. But I don't recommend you do that for now. Run. Run while you still can. On day 9 I decided to finally splash some cash at the bookseller and bought one of my all-time favourite books, the price catalogue. The price catalogue tells you the selling price of each item in your inventory. It takes into account the quality of the item and your chosen profession perks, so the price it tells you is the exact amount you'll make. It can, however, take the fun out of guessing how much you'll make at the end of the day, if that's what you're into. I also spent much of this day hunting for copper as my reserves were running low. It must have been a very good luck day because in the mines at level 28 I killed a bug and it dropped a prismatic shard. If you remember before, I mentioned that the prismatic shard is one of 2 items you probably don't want to give to Gunther right away, as it's one of the rarest items in the game. To give you an idea of just how rare, the chance of getting it from killing a random bug in the mines is 0.05%. You can see why I was so excited. That's going straight into my chest for safekeeping. The keen-eyed among you may have noticed at the entrance to the mine there is a stone wall. Once you've upgraded your pickaxe enough, you can break down this wall. I'll let you explore that one on your own. As I've been spending a lot of time in the mines over the last few days trying to replenish my copper supplies, I've been leveling up my mining skill. It's probably a good time to talk to you a bit more about leveling up in the game. Each time you level up a skill, you'll get a summary at the end of the day as to what you've gained. When you gain a level in mining, for example, you'll likely see some new things that you can craft, and a +1 pickaxe proficiency. For farming, you'll gain proficiencies in using your hoe and watering can. For foraging, it will be your axe, and for fishing, it will be your fishing rod. But what does this proficiency mean exactly? Well, it is the amount of energy needed to use that tool. The more proficient you are with a tool, the more efficient you are with using the tool. You will notice as you level up that you can mine, farm and forage for longer than you could at level 1, and this is why. Leveling up also has other benefits. For example, when fishing it increases the size of your fishing bar. For combat it increases your maximum health. You can check out more details related to leveling up on the Stardew Wiki. Hopefully you've been remembering to keep your pets' water bowls filled and you're giving them plenty of head pats. If you've been doing this, by now your pet will love you and will start to give you gifts. Most of the time the gifts are pretty basic, but every now and then they will surprise you with a decent present. You're such a good boy. On day 12 I was feeling flush with cash and decided to get my house expanded. The first house upgrade from Robin will cost you 10,000 gold and 450 wood. For this, you'll get a kitchen where you can store and cook food. You will also get an extra room and a double bed. This house upgrade is necessary if you wish to marry any of the single NPCs in the game. By now, you may have had your eye on someone special. If you want to propose to them, you'll need at least this first house upgrade to make that happen. That being said, I need to quickly check the Stardew Wiki and make a note of what Emily likes. You can search the wiki for each NPC and find the things that they like the most. The more they love a gift, the more friendship points you'll gain with them. You can also just try different things and see how they respond to them. Remember, even if you make a villager dislike you, you can always turn it around with some time and patience. The game won't punish you forever for trying things out. On day 15 my house upgrade was complete and I filled my fridge with ingredients so I could start cooking some meals. The fridge acts as a storage chest for food. Not only that, but any items you put in your fridge can be accessed directly from the stove. You don't need to put ingredients into your inventory to cook them into meals. Each meal gives you different amounts of health and energy, and some give you temporary boosts to skills. If you're going to spend a day fishing, you might want to make a trout soup or sea foam pudding. Whereas if you're going to spend a day in the mines, you might cook some crab cakes or spicy eel. You can buy more recipes from the saloon. Increasing your friendship level with certain NPCs and completing different quests will also unlock additional recipes as rewards. The next day is the Stardew Village Festival and I've been curating a variety of 9 decent quality items to show off in my Grange display. I've placed them in this chest and tomorrow I'll take them to the fair and hope to beat Pierre. It's day 16 and the day of the Stardew Valley Fair. With my carefully chosen items in my inventory, I make my way over to the town square to show off my goods. You'll notice that this festival is a little different from the others. For a start, the shop doesn't take money, it takes star tokens. You can get star tokens by purchasing them, or by taking part in the various mini games around the fair. There's a strength competition, a slingshot game, a fishing game, and a spinning wheel, where you can gamble the tokens you have for a chance of quickly increasing them or losing them. There is a knack to the spinning wheel, but I'll let you work that one out. If you win the Grange display, you'll get an additional 1000 star tokens. Unlike other festivals, you aren't automatically sent home after the mayor does his speech. Instead, you can stay at the festival to earn and spend more tokens, so don't worry too much about when you ask the mayor to commence judging. A few days earlier I had asked Robin to upgrade my coop to a large coop. The reason for this is because I eventually want to have rabbits. I'll get to that in a bit. On day 19 my coop was ready and I headed to Marnie to purchase one of the new animals I now had access to. A duck. Meet Count Quackula. As we're at Marnie's, let's quickly talk about heaters. An important thing you should note about winter is that animals will always stay indoors. And additionally, winter is cold. If your animals are cold, their mood is affected. Mood isn't the same as friendship, and low mood can affect the quality of their produce. There is a way around this however, the heaters. They're not cheap, but one heater per animal house will ensure your animals are warm during the winter and keep their mood levels up. I suggest saving up some money and purchasing a couple of heaters before winter starts. With my coop upgraded, I next decided to give my barn an extension. The big barn costs 12,000 gold, 450 wood and 200 stone. Once it's ready though, you'll be able to purchase a goat from Marnie and get goat's milk. That's one of my personal little goals for the community centre bundles, so I head over to Robin and drop the funds and materials to make it happen. On day 23 I picked up a quest Clint had posted on the special orders board, Cave Patrol. The number of dust sprites in the local caves have made mining dangerous. There's good money for anyone willing to slay 50 of them. Although I find the dust sprites super cute, as they remind me of the soot sprites from Totoro, killing them does give me coal, so I accepted the quest and headed off to the mines to reduce their population. I checked the wiki to see which levels of the mines you will find the dust sprites and headed over there. When you pick up a quest like this, it's tempting to try and go down level by level as if you were mining normally. However, if you've been exploring the mines already and have the elevator unlocked, you can make your life a lot easier. When you exit the mine, the levels reset. So if you go to a particular level and see no sprites, you can simply leave by the ladder and go back down the elevator to that level again, and it will have been reset with different enemies and rocks. It's a neat little trick to make mining quests a lot less time consuming. Thanks to my little trick, I had completed the dust sprite quest in one day, and as a reward Clint gave me a geode crusher crafting recipe. This is a machine that will crush geodes for me on my farm. No need to pay Clint 25 gold each time. Well, to be honest, it takes a while, and until you have a lot of them it's still easier to just go to Clint, but I'm grateful nonetheless. After placing my geode crusher, I also make a seed maker. A seed maker will take a crop and produce some seeds from it. In most cases, you can get between 1 to 3 seeds from a single crop. This is a great way to expand your supply of seeds instead of buying them from Pierre. I had a starfruit I'd grown in summer. These can be quite valuable, especially when turned into wine, so I put it into the seed maker hoping I'd get more to grow later on. As I mentioned before, I had a plan to get rabbits. For this I needed a deluxe coop, which I can nearly afford. The reason I want rabbits is because one of the items a rabbit drops is wool, and wool is one of Emily's most loved gifts. If you haven't guessed by now, Emily is the NPC I'm planning to romance in this playthrough. I've never married her before in my other playthroughs, but I've always liked her hippie outlook on life and quirky style. I feel like we'd get on really well, so I will attempt to woo her with rubies, emeralds, and of course, wool. Day 24 was not idle in any way, as I picked up another quest, the Red Slime Hunt for the Wizard, from the Help Wanted board. All I had to do was kill 8 red slimes in the mines and I'd get 1,000 gold, plus a prize ticket. Needless to say, it didn't take me long to complete this, and I cashed in my ticket at the mayor's house later that day, getting me a Stardrop tea. This is a new item in Stardew 1.6. This tea is a universally loved gift and will instantly boost an entire heart of friendship with any NPC you give it to. If you wait until their birthday to give it to them, you'll get 3 hearts. On day 25, I finally had enough money and resources to upgrade my coop to the deluxe coop. As well as giving me access to a rabbit, and don't ask me why rabbits live with chickens and ducks, it also has an auto feed system, meaning it will automatically take hay from the silo and fill up spots where the animals have eaten hay. The deluxe barn will do the same. When you gain a certain number of hearts with an NPC, you will get what is known as a heart event. These events will reveal more about the NPC to you, and the more hearts you unlock, the more you'll learn about them. I managed to unlock Emily's 2 heart event, but I won't spoil it here. After that, I decided to spend more time getting some wood and clearing trees from my farm. I also stocked up on hardwood from the secret woods. As it started to get late, I suddenly remembered that I hadn't yet visited the Adventurers Guild shop run by Marlon. It's next door to the mines, and now that I've been exploring the mines and killing things, I was sure there would be a reward for me there. On the wall in the shop, there is a monster eradication goals sheet. It shows you the different enemies you've come across and how many of them you've slain. If you hit the target number, there will be a reward for you. See Gil, the one sat in the chair, for your rewards. During the night, Min gave birth. The animals on the farm are female, and from time to time they may give birth to offspring. But don't ask me who the father is. There are some mysteries in Stardew Valley I'd rather not get to the bottom of. Anyway, I named her Mini Min. As winter is just around the corner, I made sure my silos were filled with hay. If you run out of grass on your farm, you can also buy hay directly from Marnie. You can place it in your silo by just clicking on the silo with hay in your hand. Day 27 is the Spirits' Eve festival, one of my favourite festivals in the game, because, let's be honest, it's basically Halloween. There's a cool little maze with an awesome prize at the end, as well as some nice items to buy from the shop. Again, I don't want to spoil anything for you, so I suggest you go check it out. With that, we've come to the end of Fall in the Valley. On day 1 of winter, the television has some advice for you. Winter, a time when all the world goes quiet. Now's a great time to do some mining, fishing and gathering. Upgrade your tools in preparation for a productive spring. Or get your local carpenter to build something on your farm. Stock up on resources, upgrade and prepare for the next year. Unlike in real life, the television in Stardew doesn't lie to us. This is some great advice. Why? Because in winter there are no crops to grow aside from winter seeds, which produce the winter forageable items. There are no seeds to buy from Pierre, and so you don't have to focus on farming crops. Instead, you can spend the season giving your attention to other areas. For example, fishing, mining, upgrading, as the all-knowing TV suggests. You'll very quickly find that if you want to upgrade your house, farm or tools, you're going to need money. And without crops, that revenue stream will be somewhat limited. There are ways around this, if it's something that interests you. Remember, you don't have to do anything. If you want to sleep all winter, then by all means go ahead. Although I would strongly recommend at least petting your animals every day and making sure they have food. If you do want to make a little extra cash over winter, then I suggest 2 things. Firstly, your animals. If you've bought a few animals by this point, they will continue to give you milk, eggs, etc. each day, provided they are fed. Remember to keep them warm with a heater, as I suggested in the fall video, so that their mood is happy and they produce good quality items. The second is through fishing. Spend a few days in the ocean or the mountain lake and catch in some fish to sell. If you choose the fisher profession when you reach level 5 of fishing, your fish will be worth 25% more. At level 10 you can increase that to 50%. You'll be surprised how much money you can reel in spending a few days fishing. Yes, that was a fishing pun. And no, once again I am not sorry. I saw that a fishing quest had been posted on the special orders board, so I picked it up. Seeing as I'd be fishing anyway, might as well get a reward for it too. During winter, when you head into town from your farm, you'll notice a shadowy figure run away from you. I suggest you follow it. Look out for the footprints in the snow. That's all I'll say about that. Finally, on day 1, I received a drum block from Gunther for an artifact I delivered. I only mention this because I love the drum block. I like to put it beside my bed and pick a beat. Every time you pass the drum block, it plays that beat. Stand next to it and right-click to change the sound it makes. Now every time I get out of bed or go into bed, a beat will play. Good night, everyone. After completing the fishing quest I picked up on day 1, Demetrius sent me a blueprint for the farm computer. The farm computer is a nifty little gadget that lets you keep an eye on the state of your farm. It will tell you how much hay you have left, how many crops you have, how much ground you've tilled, and so on. It's really helpful to check each day and get an idea of the state of your farm. I recently welcomed a new Tier 2 channel member as I was recording this playthrough, and so I went to Marnie to purchase an animal for them. All YouTube channel members get a shout out in my videos, and in addition to that, Tier 2 members get to have an animal named after them on my farm, such as Michelle Aromi over here. This baby brown cow belongs to Danny, our newest Tier 2 member. Our Tier 1 channel members are Min's Meadow, Rix, and J1A2V3E4. After settling Danny in her new home, I head south and visit a new friend we haven't met yet. This is arguably one of the cutest characters in the game. It's the Hat Mouse. The Hat Mouse has a shop here with a rotating supply of hats. If you've got money to burn, go and check out what's for sale. Remember that you, your horse and your pets can wear hats, so buy enough for everyone. On day 4 I had enough money to buy a rabbit now that my deluxe coop was ready. I named this little ball of fluff Spiky and had her delivered to the farm. Provided Spiky is fed each day, she will mature in 6 days and then be able to produce wool. Just what I need to woo Emily. If you recall from my full video, I have decided to romance Emily in this playthrough, and one of her most loved gifts is wool. I also need wool for a community centre bundle, so having a rabbit is perfect. Having said that, I also managed to complete the craft room bundle today and have unlocked the bridge to the quarry. We'll get to that later. Now you may have noticed something in town during winter. There's an awful lot more artifact spots. Remember these wiggly worm things? Well, if you think you're seeing more than usual, it's not just your imagination. There are more spots in winter, and digging them up can also give you snow yams and winter roots, as well as books and artifacts for the museum. I spend the rest of the day fishing to make a little extra cash as I'm burning through quite a bit now, and I also plant some winter seeds I got from the community centre to help supplement my income. The next day we were able to head over to the quarry. Now that the bridge has been repaired, you'll see a new location on the minecarts. If you want to walk there, you'll find the bridge just below the mines, here. The quarry is a randomly generated, self-replenishing mining area. You can find all sorts of ores and gems in here, such as gold, coal, rubies, and so on. You can break all the rocks manually, or if you want to save yourself some time, you can lay down a few bombs to clear the area quickly. You'll notice that there's a little cave entrance in the quarry. This leads to the quarry mine. The quarry mine is just 1 level deep, but it's worth checking out as there's a nice surprise at the end of it for you. Enough said about that. Whilst breaking rocks in the quarry, I've come across my first secret note. Secret notes can be found in a variety of different ways, but won't be unlocked until you've met the shadowy guy I mentioned at the start of this video. They can contain special digging spots, diary entries, gift lists for NPCs, and more. Do you recall back in spring I called Clint a creeper? Well, on day 6 he's shown his true colours. I want you to deliver an amethyst to Emily. It's her favourite stone. Tell her it's from me. There's so much to unpack here. Firstly, he's at least twice Emily's age. Secondly, I'm trying to romance Emily. And thirdly, he wants me to get the amethyst and deliver it and then tell her it's from him. Clint, I'm sorry buddy, but you need to back off. She's taken. After dealing with that somewhat disturbing request, I sort my farm and spend the rest of the day fishing, honing my skills for the upcoming Ice Festival. The Ice Festival is held on day 8 and is the first of 3 main winter festivals in Stardew, the other 2 being the Night Market and the Feast of the Winter Star. There is also a Squid Fest held on the 12th and 13th. During the Ice Festival you will be able to meet and greet all the villagers. You'll also see a familiar face, the travelling merchant with her awesome pig. She'll pop up again later on. The main event of the Ice Festival is a fishing competition. The player to catch the most fish will be crowned the winner and receive some pretty decent fishing rod attachments as well as this cool hat. Good luck! The hat is too cool for me, so obviously it belongs on Cheesecake. Look at how stunning she looks in that sailor's cap. What an icon. Now that I'm the fishing champion of Pelican Town, I really need to kit myself out as a champion. I head over to Willy on the morning of day 9 and finally purchase the Iridium Rod. As well as letting me attach bait, the Iridium Rod allows me to attach a bobber. There's a lot of different options here, but my favourite is the trap bobber. I always used to use the lead bobber, but a community member in the Discord, Emily, suggested I use the trap bobber as it takes longer for fish to escape when they aren't in the bar. Since using the trap bobber, it completely changed my life. Fishing has never been so easy, so thank you so much for that tip, Emily. On day 9 my rabbit dropped their first wool and I was able to complete the bundle which unlocked the greenhouse. More on that in a bit. In addition, I also received my first duck feather from Count Quackula. I'll be donating that to the community centre too. Okay, so let's talk about the greenhouse. The greenhouse is one of those game-changing unlocks in Stardew Valley. It allows you to grow any crop or tree any time of year. That means you could be growing melons in winter or planting apple trees that will produce fruit all year round. It really is magnificent. If you want to know how to plant trees in your greenhouse, I made a short on just that topic which you can find here. I'll put a link in the description below as well. On day 11 it's ready to use, so I head in and start placing some sprinklers, hoeing the ground and getting it ready for use. This is where I now show you some great little features in the game to make things more practical and look nicer. Firstly, head over to everyone's favourite girl boss carpenter Robin. When you go to the Construct Farm Buildings menu, you'll notice that you also have an option to move buildings around. Yep, you can get Robin to instantly move an entire building around your farm and everything inside at no cost. If there's something in the way, however, you'll need to move that manually beforehand, so make sure you clear the area you want to move things to and hope there's no dog or animal in the way, otherwise you won't be able to place the building. The other thing Robin can do is paint buildings for you. Note that this only works on fully upgraded buildings, so in my case I can repaint the coop as it's now a deluxe coop. Select the colour for the building, the roof and the trim. I also made a short on how to use this feature, I'll put a link to that in the description too. I spent the rest of the day moving things around and getting some things in my greenhouse planted before it's time to sleep. I'll do more tomorrow. True to my word, I spent most of day 12 reorganising my farm. It's easy to move the machines, you can just pickaxe them and pick them up, laying them back down again. But what about all those chests you made that are filled with items? Well, here's a trick. Just hit the chest over and over again facing the direction you want it to go, and it will. I still think back to those days before I knew this and was taking everything out of the chest and moving it manually. Never again. Now we mentioned this person before, the travelling merchant with the awesome pig. The travelling merchant shows up every Friday and Saturday in the valley just to the left of Marnie's ranch. She sells a variety of different things, and the stock can sometimes contain very rare items, but they come at an extremely extortionate price. Sometimes it's worth it, but most times I pass on her wares unless there's something I specifically need as soon as possible. In this relaxing playthrough, however, there's nothing really worth buying except for the rare seed. The rare seed is very pricey, but it will grow into a sweet gem berry, which is one of the most valuable crops in the game. After you've grown a sweet gem berry, you can use a seed maker to make more seeds. I would recommend growing at least one, as it will be very useful elsewhere in the game. After you've unlocked the greenhouse, you'll be visited by Evelyn. She will give you a garden pot and the blueprints to create one yourself. Garden pots are a seriously underrated item in Stardew, as you can use them to grow almost any crop inside any building, any time of year. You'll remember back in fall I said that the Spirit's Eve was one of my favourite events in Stardew. Well, here's the other one, the night market. On days 15, 16 and 17 of winter, from 5 PM, you'll be able to head down to the beach and visit the night market. It's a collection of different vendors, events and free coffee. What sets this apart from some of the other events is the access to the area isn't closed off when the event isn't running. You can still do things during the day, and leaving the event doesn't end the day. You're free to come and go as you please. I heartily urge you to go and check it out on each of the days, as the items in the shop change. And with a greenhouse you could start growing some really good crops from the seeds available. You can also go fishing in this submarine. I wonder what interesting things you'll catch deep in the ocean. Don't sleep on the mermaid show either, it's a gem. Another thing that is unlocked after you construct your greenhouse is the ability to access this giant stump. Visiting the giant stump informs you that with 100 pieces of hardwood you could fix it up. If you do, you won't regret it. I did decide to go ahead and fix up the stump. I went over to the secret woods to collect some more hardwood and then built this very pretty home. I just hope someone moves in. On day 18 you will receive a letter in the post telling you about the Feast of the Winter Star. This is the main event of winter, and there is a secret gift giving ceremony. You will be given an NPC whom you need to give a gift to, should you wish. This year, I got Harvey. A quick look on the wiki tells me that Harvey likes coffee. Thankfully, I have some coffee beans and a keg, so that shouldn't be a problem. You'll have 7 days to prepare your gift. Plenty of time to get pretty much anything you need. The wool I'm getting from my rabbit is not just useful as a gift for Emily, you can also use it to make cloth. To do this, you will need to craft a loom. To get the crafting recipe for a loom, you need to be farming level 7. It requires some wood, fibre and pine tar to make. We'll get to what you can do with cloth in a minute. Before that, look at this. Someone has moved into the old tree. It's a cute hungry raccoon who needs some fish. He wants a smoked midnight carp and 5 cockles. I'm not going to do this now, but it's something to keep in mind for later on. Since I've been building my friendship with Emily, my hearts with her have been increasing. It seems she's noticed, as on day 19 she greets me in the morning to tell me that she has a sewing machine in her house that I can use. All I need is some cloth. How lucky, I just happen to have some ready. By using the sewing machine at Emily's house, you can mix cloth with pretty much any item to create some unique item of clothing. You can get an entire list on the wiki of everything you can make and what you need, but I just like to throw in whatever and see what happens. In this case I brought an amethyst along. Drop the cloth into the cloth area and the other item into the spool. This made a purple shirt. I think I'll wear it now. It complements my boots perfectly. I also made enough money today to complete the vault bundle at the community centre, which unlocks the bus. We'll get to that in just a moment. The immediate reward, however, is the crystallarium. This is one of my most loved machines in the game. You can get one by completing this bundle, and also by donating 50 items to the museum. What's so special about it? Well, you can place any gem or mineral inside, except for a prismatic shard, and it will duplicate it. It takes a little while, depending on the gem, but it will keep producing that gem over and over again. If you want to change what it creates, simply break it with a pickaxe. You'll get your original gem back and the crystallarium. Then just place it down again and insert your new gem. With the vault bundle complete, the bus has now been repaired. And who better to drive it than the alcoholic and emotionally abusive Pam? I'm sure I'm in safe hands. The bus takes you to a new area in the game, the Calico Desert. Although it's not cheap, a bus ticket will set you back 500 gold. Later on you'll be able to warp to the desert with a totem, but for now you've just got to do it the old-fashioned way. Oh yeah, and before I forget, Pam doesn't get to work until 10 AM. Hopefully that gives you enough time to deal with your farm before catching the bus. Remember when I told you to save your first prismatic shard? Well, bring it with you to the desert and stand in the middle of that area over there. You'll thank me later for this one. There are 2 shops in the Calico Desert. One is the desert trader who trades his wares for mining items such as geodes, gems, batwings and so on. The other shop is the Oasis, run by the magnificent Sandy. I mean, look at her. Look at that profile. It screams queen. Sandy has a great selection of seeds you can grow in your greenhouse. When you speak to her, she'll be added as an NPC on your list of people you can befriend. Unfortunately, she's not single. The last area of the desert you'll want to check out is the cave entrance up here. This is actually the entrance to the Skull Caverns. Remember that skull-shaped key you got when you reached the bottom of the mines in Pelican Town? Well, let's just see if it fits. A word of warning, the Skull Caverns is not like the mines at Pelican Town. If you struggled at those mines, this will prove very challenging. If you don't feel up to the task, don't worry. You can come back whenever you feel ready. Try it out, but make sure you have plenty of food with you in case you get low on health. That being said, although it's much harder, the rewards for your bravery within the Skull Cavern are plentiful and well worth the risk. Just don't forget that you'll need to get the bus back home unless you keep a warp totem with you. With all that time in the Skull Caverns, I've got a lot more items to donate to Gunther. When you donate 60 items, Gunther will give you a rusty key. I wonder what that opens. You go, try it out. On day 24 of winter, I got enough money together to upgrade my barn to the deluxe barn. This would mean I'd be able to buy pigs. I went to Robin and dropped 25,000 gold, 550 wood, and 300 stone on the deluxe barn. That will take a few days to get ready. In the meantime, I made sure my silo was stocked with hay. I spent a little time clearing up and then headed to bed at the respectable time of 1 PM. Don't judge me. As it's the eve of the 25th of winter, take a look at the special guest we have flying across our daily summary board. The 25th marks the Feast of the Winter Star. The shop here sells a few extremely overpriced items and a bunch of winter decorations. When you speak to the NPC who you're supposed to give your gift to, it initiates a cutscene where you get your gift in return. I gave Harvey his coffee and got a lovely bottle of wine from Haley. Thank you, Haley. Some of you may remember that a while ago I received a quest from Mr. Chi. Chi? Key? I'm pretty sure it should be Chi, but lots of people say Key. Anyway, it was to place 10 beets in the mayor's fridge. I was able to plant the seeds and on day 27 they were ready. I placed the beets in the fridge and got another note. Give the sand dragon his final meal. Honestly, this isn't something I would have ever worked out without looking at the wiki. So if you get to this point and you want to work it out, I'll let you do that on your own. I will tell you this though, if you complete this little scavenger hunt for Mr. Chi, it will unlock that room in Sandy's shop at the desert. On the last day of winter, I went all out and tied up a lot of loose ends I'd been meaning to get around to. First off, I had enough money to buy the big bag from Pierre. This gives you 36 inventory slots. Those extra slots are really helpful when mining in the Skull Caverns. Another thing I did was find a use for that rusty key I obtained from Gunther. I don't really want to spoil it here, but I will say this. If you get the rusty key, try and use it to open everything that was previously locked to you. It does open somewhere new in the town for you to explore, but I'll leave it there. For my final act in winter of year 1, I purchased a pig from Marnie, now that I had my deluxe barn. Pigs are an excellent moneymaker during spring, summer and fall once they've matured. Pigs who are let outside on the farm dig up truffles, which are very valuable. More so if you turn them into truffle oil, so it's a good investment as you head into year 2. As I've come to the end of the year, I take stock of how far I've come playing the game in a very relaxed way. As you can see when I scroll through the community center bundles, I've actually managed to achieve most of them. All that's left are 3 fish, a red cabbage, a truffle and 3 apples. It just goes to show that even when playing super chill, I was able to accomplish so much without even breaking a sweat. Of course you can say, well, you know what you're doing as you've done it before, and there is some truth in that. But those of you who have been watching since spring have been with me on this journey. You've seen me taking it easy at every turn, ending days at 2 PM if I wanted to, doing things in the order I felt like rather than in the most efficient way. I want to highlight this because more than anything I want you to go away from this video feeling as though you too can accomplish so much in Stardew playing in whatever way feels right to you. There's no right or wrong way to play this game. It's one of the things that drew me to the game in the first place, and one of the reasons it is one of my most favourite games I've ever had the pleasure to play. I really want to thank you all for taking this journey with me. I hope you've enjoyed this series. If there's anything you feel I've missed out that would benefit new players, please do leave a comment below. Finally, don't forget that you're welcome to join the Discord and chat Stardew or other games with our lovely community. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you again next time.